Hello, and welcome to another Discussing Fitchburg Now show with myself, your host, Sam Squailia. This is brought to you by FATV, Fitchburg Access Television, thanks to the Workers Credit Union Virtual Studio. On with me this week, I have Julisa Medina. She is a children's book author of the new book, Miracle Star Above the Sky. She's also a personal coach with a mindset mentor with the Mindset Minute. And just looking through Julisa's Instagram and her Facebook, she's inspiring and upbeat and enthusiastic. And I just love it. I just love it. So I'm so excited to have you on. Thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate it, Sam. It's truly an honor. I'm very humbled to be on here and to share my journey and my story.
Yeah. So you recently published your first book, which is a children's book in early 2021, right?
Yes, it came out. It was released February of 2021. And I actually have the book with me. Please let me know if you would like me to. I do. This is my children's book called Miracle Star Above the Sky. And it's based on anyone who desires a child endlessly, that they pray to God and or the universe to manifest a child into their life and what they envision transpiring once this child is here. And it's based on my brother and sister-in-law's story. And my niece, who is going to be 30 months, is the little miracle who inspired me to write this book.
So your niece, Milana, right?
Milana Grace Medina.
Milana. So you were inspired to write this book from your brother and sister-in-law's difficulty in conceiving a child. So she's the miracle child.
Yes, she is. And my brother and a lot of people out there and people that I've spoken to are dealing with or struggling with infertility. And that's what happened with my brother and sister-in-law. They tried for 10 years to have a child of their own, did in vitro twice, miscarried twice. And 9 days before my sister-in-law's hysterectomy, because she has health ailments, she found out she was pregnant naturally with my miracle niece.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's God in the universe, hearing prayers, hearing us asking for a miracle and a blessing. And hence why moving forward for my sister-in-law's baby shower, her mom, in lieu of cards, she asked for a signed baby's book. And that's when that idea popped into my mind.
You were like, why buy a baby's book? I'm going to write one.
Yes, exactly. I said, you know what? Why am I going to? So that idea popped in. And if I didn't learn to love myself in 2016 and been on this spiritual journey of growth, I would have actually pushed that idea aside, like so many ideas that I pushed aside in my past because I didn't believe in myself and I had limited beliefs. So having that idea manifested in my mind, I started doing research on the different formatting of children's books. And then I started writing, put it aside, and then I kept on writing. And the universe and God kept manifesting so many amazing people into my life who inspired me to really move forward with this book. And I'm blessed and grateful because last year during COVID, I got through that terror barrier. And it's that barrier, those old limited beliefs that was prohibiting me from taking that leap of faith to sign with a hybrid publisher or self-publishing. And I got through that terror barrier and moved forward and signed up with a hybrid publisher. And since then, there's been struggles and obstacles, but you know what? I look at my struggles and obstacles as a learning experience to grow. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, continue.
I really look at these now as a learning lesson to grow and say, what can I do differently? How can I improve? In the past, I used to look at my struggles and obstacles as something really negative. And now I say, you know what? It's not negative. It's a growth experience if you choose to look at it as a growth experience.
Mindset. Right?
Yes.
So you were inspired to write this children's book at your niece's baby shower. How long did the process take from the idea to the completion of the book?
Well, the idea started formulating in my mind in 20, wow, how old is, so my niece is going to be 3 in October, so a little over 3 years ago. And I ended up just doing the research, started writing and put it aside, writing again, put it aside, trying to find an illustrator, doing all the research on this, because a lot of people don't realize it's not easy. When you take a leap of faith and a chance in yourself, it's not going to be easy. And a lot of people quit because of the challenges and obstacles. But you know what? I wasn't going to quit, because even though people said, just focus on this, focus on that, I said, no, I'm not quitting. This is something that I feel it within my soul that is going to inspire others. So why not take a chance on myself? And so I continued writing. And then last year, I was still doing a little edits. And even until the printing, I don't think my hybrid publisher really cared too much for that, but I was still doing those little edits of the writing, working with the illustrator last year. And then finally in November of last year is when we sent it to the printers. And I have the book here, and I'm actually editing in just adding my photo in the back, because I didn't think of adding a photo to my book. So my next round of prints is going to be a photo of me in the back, and I'm adding a little something that gets people thinking like, "Ooh, is she writing other books after?"
Nice. So this book, the Miracle Star Above the Sky by Julisa Medina, and it's edited by Izzy Bean. How did you choose your illustrator? Because the illustrations always bring a children's book, to life. How did you choose your illustrator?
Izzy is an amazing woman out of the UK, and she was working with my hybrid publisher. She had illustrated several of his other clients' books. And when I saw some of her illustrations, it really resonated with me. I was like, whoa, this is gorgeous. I love the color, because prior to this, I had done research. I had interviewed parents and their kids in regards to what attracts the parents to purchase the books and what the kids like in the books. And I loved how Izzy, her color content and the beauty of the flow of her illustrations. So I decided to work with her. And it's not always easy when someone's in the UK and you're sending an Excel spreadsheet telling her what you want. So I had to do like kind of some of my chicken scratch drawings, because I'm not a great drawer, and send that over to her. And I sent her a photo that I took at my friend's lake house. I said, I want an image laid out of this lake with the sun setting in the back and the boats. And so I worked with her closely. These are all my ideas in the book.
The illustrations are stemmed from your vision.
Yes, it is. Even the lotus flowers that are in the book, because the lotus flowers symbolizes, I had this tattoo this year, well, not this year, 2.5 years ago, of my growth and budding out of the mud and blossoming on this journey. And each book that I write, I'm going to put a lotus flower in the book. because a lot of people are still finding their own way, and it's about blossoming into your own path, your own journey in life, and going out there and becoming the best version of you.
So this book, this is your first published book, but
Yeah.
it kind of, comes from your journey in the past from writing poetry. So the book kind of has a poetry, is kind of the next generation of your poetry. Is that correct?
Yes, I used to write poetry here and there, and I decided that I wanted to do something that rhymed. I don't know if my other books are going to be the same. I have no idea, but I have at least 14 other children's books ideas. I'm going to write a series, and actually I'm speaking with a mom and a friend tomorrow, and we're going to collaborate in regards to a children's book in order to empower others. And I'm going to write my own story of growth, and I already have several other people to collaborate with who have been through struggles and obstacles.
Next steps. So you're thinking more children's books and a series of them?
I am. I'm definitely thinking of more children's books. I feel as if this is my calling. This is where I'm meant to be. In addition, I feel so much for children. There's a lot of things that I plan to do besides writing children's book. I want to open up a nonprofit for care for kids and people who have been through traumatic events and obstacles like myself. So they have a home and a place to talk about it and not feel like they're victims, but they're warriors.
Like that warrior, not a victim. And it takes a lot of work to get there. That's for sure.
It does. It took me a lot of work, shedding of layers of sharing my journey and things that had happened to me in my past, and sharing it on my Mindset Minutes on Facebook, because I want people to realize that they're not alone, that their things that happen to them is not their fault. Like, I blame myself for years. And I've been hearing more and more, and that's why I'm here on this planet for a reason. I'm here in this body for a reason. And the time is now for me to share and to grow and to hopefully inspire and empower others to never give up on themselves, as I choose not to give up on me.
And the more that you talk with other people, the more that you realize you are not alone, and other people have experienced very similar issues or experiences that you have experienced yourself, and it helps to talk rather than just bottle things up.
It definitely helps to talk about it. I bottled it up for years, and it caused me just to float by in life, just floating, not having, like, I was a ship without a destination. And now I envision what I desire, and I'm working on also an idea, a formula, and in order to help other people too. And I desire more, but I want to really impact the masses in some way that they know that they have true worth within inside them, that they have that inner power, that inner strength, and that no one should allow their negative self-talk to keep them down, or their own self-talk to keep them down.
And goals are so important, in order to, having that future goal, like the idea of writing a children's book for your niece. So that you have a certain amount of time that you have to get this children's book done and published and illustrated and getting out there so that she can read it.
Yes. And actually she received an advance copy, and my sister-in-law captured her reading the book. She took it right away and she's looking through it, and my niece was looking and she goes, "That's Anna." So she calls herself Anna, not Milana, not Mila, Anna. So she goes, "That's Anna." And then she goes, that's Anna there. That's mommy and daddy.
That's the best.
It is, because I wasn't blessed with my own child. I'm 45 years old and I wasn't blessed with my own child. And to be able to adopt a child in the future is something I definitely would love to do. And to give back to kids and to just inspire, especially the youth and my niece, that you have limitless potential, and that because I have these visions of other books of my niece going on adventures, but it's not just going to be on adventures. It's going to incorporate like mindset, health and wellness, and so much more.
Positive growth. So the children's book, you know what, the Miracle Star Above the Sky, every purchase of the book actually benefits foster children through the National Angels.
Yes. So I decided I had a Kickstarter campaign, and I recently achieved, do you know what the Kickstarter campaign, it's almost like a GoFundMe.
Yep.
So with Kickstarter, if you don't reach your goal, it's all or nothing. So 2 hours prior to it ending, I reached my goal and I was able to write a check out, and I actually mailed it to the National Angels Foster Care. And any books purchased through my personal website, which is julisamedinabooks.com, I donate a certain portion of that to the foster care as well. And I truly believe in giving back without expecting anything in return. It's a law of compensation. Even if it's not money, it's just being kind to others, smiling, even through a mask, opening up the door for somebody, buying someone's coffee. It's just about being kind and being grateful for what we have. A lot of people don't have a lot, but you know what? Be grateful that you have 2 legs to walk on. You have hands to move. You can see, you can hear, you can smell. You have a roof over your head. It's just about gratitude.
We all have something that we can be grateful for. That's for sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm. Yep. So you can purchase Miracle Star Above the Sky at julisamedinabooks.com, and there the donation to support foster children, and you can get a hardcover copy that's signed by the author.
Yes, an autograph signed copy. And if people feel free to take a look, and if you want, you can also purchase my book through anywhere books are sold online as well. But if you want an autographed copy, feel free to check out my website.
And it's also available on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all the major book retailers, right?
Yes, and also talking about Barnes and Nobles, I am meeting with Carol, who's the manager at Barnes and Nobles in Leominster, and I will be having a book signing next month, right after, because school ends in Leominster, Fitchburg area on June 16th. So I'm having book signing that Saturday from 12 to 4 p.m. So it's June, I believe, 19th.
June 19th. So Saturday, June 19th from 12 to 4 p.m. at Barnes & Noble in Leominster. You can meet Julisa and get yourself a signed copy of the book.
Yes, I'm excited about that.
So do you have a favorite book from your childhood? You know, does anything like that kind of inspire this book? You know, like Where the Sidewalk Ends. That was one of my favorites.
I had a lot of favorite books, but my niece is the one that really inspired me to write this, Milana. Yeah. But Alice in Wonderland I love the fantasy. I love adventure books because you can envision yourself going through it yourself. So Alice in Wonderland was one of my favorites.
Good one. So let's see. When you're writing a children's book, right, you only have so many pages. have to write a lot of pages and then have to edit it out? And was that difficult?
I did edit some stuff out. It wasn't difficult unless we perceive it to be difficult. So I chose to look at it as, all right, it is what it is. Might as well just try it, figure it out. And there were days, I have to admit, I was bawling, I was crying, because these struggles and obstacles they're not always easy. But you cry, you get back up, you say, okay, it is what it is. I released all of that, and now it's time for me to focus and work on this. So it's just going back and forth, and meditating actually helped me, and prayer and meditation. And I journal every day. So those are things that help me to rewrite and change and edit and take out or add.
For people that are writing their own books, do you have any advice for them that maybe they're struggling with writer's block, or just not picking up that manuscript that they put down 6 months ago, anything like that?
My suggestion is to take a break from the norm where you're constantly trying to figure out and write. To me, going out in nature and being by water helps me to align, refocus, and I start getting ideas. I'm a water girl, I'm a Scorpio, and I realize that water is like one of those things that I just resonate with. And being by water, I feel absolutely euphoric. I feel like the energy and ideas start formulating in my mind, especially if I'm journaling by water. So just getting out of that same place where you're at and where you're stuck is go somewhere, go on a little vacation, go out in nature, go walking, go hiking. People don't take the opportunity or the advantage to be out in nature. And it's absolutely wonderful. So, so powerful. I like to go walking or running, and especially by water. To me, that helps me. I'm not sure if it will help others, but actually just getting out of, honestly, just go somewhere. Just go out.
Relax. I always tell people to take a long hot shower, because that's where I get my best ideas. So maybe that's water. Maybe that's the thing.
Some people state that too. I've had mentors and people who are in different businesses say that taking a shower helps them. So taking a shower too, taking a bath, candlelight.
So just kind of segueing, into you besides, your children's book, you do the mindset mentor, and you also seem to be a fitness enthusiast on your Instagram. Talk a little bit about the rest of your life beyond your children's book.
So in 2016, I made a decision to compete in my first fitness competition. And I met so many incredible people who inspired me, because I was allowing fear to hold me back. So I made the decision, started training, hired the right trainers, coaches. And right before I took the stage, prior to my first fitness competition, which is, I think, the beginning of October 29th, because it was the day before my birthday. My birthday is October 30th. October 29th, it was my 40th birthday. And I was 40 years old. And couple weeks prior is when I looked in the mirror and said, I love myself, because I had never loved myself for years. And so I took the stage and I felt amazing. It felt absolutely incredible to compete, and knowing that I wanted to do it for 10 years, but I was holding myself back. I was limiting myself for so long, but it is what it is. And I've done 7 fitness competitions since 2016. Yeah. It's not always easy. It's sheer determination, perseverance, hard work, dedicating. But you know what? I found that newfound strength within me that I can do this.
That's a mental toughness.
Oh my gosh, yes. Yeah, it was definitely mental toughness. And I didn't compete last year, and I'm not competing this year because I'm so focused on other goals. So I am going to lose my pro card, but I'm okay with that. I'm okay with it because I did this and I embraced it and I got to live out my dream. And now I have other dreams like writing other books and being up on stage, being a motivational speaker. In addition, this idea that I foresee putting out into the world to help others. And I actually just recently aligned myself with the founders of a new and upcoming athleisure line that they're bringing to the market in the US. So I aligned myself with them and I get to share the clothing, and it's about women empowerment. It doesn't matter what age you are or what size, it's about feeling good in your skin and wearing clothes. Sometimes putting on a piece of clothing makes you feel sexy for a woman and it makes you be like, okay, yeah, I feel great. Let me go for a walk. Let me go to the gym. Let me just do it. Let me just go out and be that woman and empower and embrace the beauty that comes from within. So I align myself with them. And I recently was just in Mexico for this because I was blessed that to be in their fashion show. I was going to go to Hawaii and they asked me to be in the fashion show in Mexico. And I said, I wasn't planning on going to Mexico, but maybe this is a sign from God that I'm meant to be there. So within 2 weeks, I decided I'm going to Mexico, booked my plane trip, went to Mexico, and was embraced by so many incredible women from all walks of life, struggling through cancer and so much more. And I had some women there purchase my book as well. Two beautiful women, because a friend of them had lost a child, or they're struggling with infertility, or they just wanted a book to give for a baby shower. So not only that, just these women were empowering, and to feel that energy, because I'm sure, I don't know if you can, Sam, but I feel people's energies, either negative or positive. And I've been feeling this the past couple of years since I've been living from inside out and not outside in.
Yep, I feel like we all choose to be around people that give us energy rather than suck the energy from us.
Yes.
Well,
exactly.
Thank you so much, Julisa Medina, for coming on and telling us your story and telling us about your book. You can buy the book, a signed autographed copy from the author, at julisamedinabooks.com. You can also buy them at Amazon or Barnes & Noble. You can meet Julisa in person Saturday, June 19th at Barnes & Noble. And where else can we follow you? Because you know, I love your inspirational story and your positive affirmations. Where can we follow you?
So I also am on Instagram, Julisa Medina _official. You can follow me on Facebook at Julisa Medina Mindset Minute. And right now I'm working on a Facebook page that's going to empower females. I'm working on it with a couple of other females. That's going to be about fashion, fitness, fun, excitement, health, and wellness. So it incorporates the mindset, because the mind is what controls our body. So it's going to encompass all of that in order to empower each other as women to grow. But that's coming soon. But I will definitely be updating everyone on my Facebook page under Julisa Medina Mindset Minute. I also have a Facebook for my book. I update that once a day. It's Julisa Medina Books. Feel free to, or Julisa Medina Author. Yeah, I have a lot of pages. But the main one is the Mindset Minute, and it's going to be the group one in order to empower women on a bigger scale. And we're going to be sharing our clothing on there too, for our fitness and everyday wear.
Well, congratulations and good luck for your future endeavors. It was great to meet you. And thank you so much, everyone, for watching at home. I hope you can reach out and check out Julisa's, her various websites and her Instagram. It's inspirational and fun. All right, we'll catch you later. Thanks for watching Discussing Fitchburg Now. Hello, and we're back with another show segment on Discussing Fitchburg Now with myself, your host, Sam Squailia. We are talking with Beth Robbins, the founder of Fitchburg Roots, which is going to be a Faces of Fitchburg organization. We're going to be talking about kind of the history and the diverse ethnic populations of Fitchburg, and it's a whole project that Beth's going to start talking about, right, Beth?
Yes, yes, I will. Thank you for having me, Sam. I know we've tried to connect on a lot of different levels, and we're super busy, and so it's an honor to be here, talking about Fitchburg roots with you today. Um, Hopefully, this can be the first of many, interviews where I can have other folks that are already involved. Fitchburg Roots is the very beginning, foundational stages right now. We're officially incorporated. New View is our sponsor, our fiscal sponsor. So we've laid all the groundwork for it, and basically, Fitchburg Roots is what it sounds like. It's exploring those families that have chosen to put their roots down here in Fitchburg. So Doris Kilpatrick wrote a book, Around the World in Fitchburg, which I'm sure some of your audience is familiar with. She went up until 1975 with different ethnic groups that had come to Fitchburg and put their roots down here. So that was kind of our loose inspiration for this book. Although Fitchburg Roots is going to encompass more than just writing a book. So initially it's going to be a 200-page book that we're working on finding guest writers for, guest artists that will help with the illustrations, all hopefully very local, so we can also showcase the talent that's within Fitchburg, the creative talent. And basically the stars of this book are going to be the families from Fitchburg that have either immigrated or migrated here in the more recent future. So Doris took it up to 1975. We'd like to do a then and now. So we'd like to look at, let's say, for instance, the example of Puerto Ricans migrating here. We'd like to take what they were originally stood for in the industry that they were originally connected with and look at them now and see those families that may have had third generation, that they were part of the original family. Now we're gonna take it into the modern history where we'll discuss, okay, where are you now? Like, what is your family doing? Do you own a business? Where do your kids go to school? Tell us some of your struggles and challenges and triumphs here in Fitchburg. So it's going to take a look at that. So the first leg is the book. The book will be called Faces of Fitchburg, and it will be just that. It'll be the marginalized and some of the voiceless parts of our community that don't necessarily get to be in the limelight, whether politically or just in general, that might not have felt so much part of the community as other folks might, so we're trying to help bring them forward, and help them feel proud of their culture and proud of their history and listen to their stories like we used to do back in the old day, the old days where we sat around a fire and everybody told their stories, right? It's kind of like in that spirit.
that's, that's always fascinating to hear people's stories of where they came from and how they got here.
Yeah.
What was your inspiration for creating this organization, Fitchburg Roots?
Well, I've been involved with New View for quite some time in their community leadership programs and their stewardship programs. And I also worked for the city for many years, in and out of the city in many different capacities. For the city of Fitchburg itself, I've worked for the ARC before. I've worked for uh, many different, Fitchburg State, I volunteered, did AmeriCorps there for a while. And I'm also a resident for over 10, probably around 12 to 12 years now, I bet, if I added all the years up. And it's my favorite city. And I know that people sometimes go, what do you mean? But I've lived in Ashby, I've lived in Leominster, Westminster, Gardner, every place surrounding Fitchburg. And every time I returned to Fitchburg to live, it was always the most diverse. It was always the most interesting. Um, you know, in culturally speaking, the art, the music, it's just always been a place that I've loved, and I've chose to put my own roots down here for many years. So along the way, I've met the people in Fitchburg. I mean, I certainly haven't uh, done as much outreach and community engagement as you have, Sam. But along the way, I've been out there and I've met the people of Fitchburg. And I thought to myself, I got laid off from this city a little while ago due to the COVID and everything like that. And I thought, what can I do that will come from a place of passion and heart, um, to kind of contribute, and bring some folks out that I wish other people knew, and wish other people knew Fitchburg, the people of Fitchburg, like we do, like I do. And because it's really about the city is made up of politicians, of course, and systems and organizations and schools. But what I discovered is really is about the people. The fiber of the city is about the people, right? It's about the diversity, all the different ethnicities, how they came here, why they came here, the industries they represent or that they began in. So I just started getting really curious about that and reached out to some people to say, hey, would you be interested in this idea and coming on board? And so far, it's been New View, it's been the Fitchburg Public Schools that are very excited about it, Fitchburg State, um, Family Resource Center, the Spanish American Center. So we're starting to build kind of like this broad network, and we've begun doing focus groups to kind of bring some families forward. So that was the origin, though. I think it was just my love that has grown for the city, and the naysayers that say, I kind of feel like Fitchburg's a bully. I mean, Fitchburg's been bullied. It's been like a bullied kid, or an old person, basically, because we have so much rich history. It's like the equivalent to me sometimes when I see these naysayers and even residents of Fitchburg that say, it's a, dirty burg and all this stuff. It's kind of like that feeling like where you want to say, hey, but you don't understand like all this history and the beauty that's here and the people that have struggled to make it their home. And so it's kind of that feeling where you want to stick up for the bullied old person that, or even the young person, whoever. But that's just getting so much of a rash of mess for being a city, and can't catch a break sometimes. And we're kind of on the upswing of that. So it's an exciting time, but I'm one of those on the other side, like you, yes, let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate it, Fitchburg.
Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy here in Fitchburg.
Yes, we can.
It, it
So
can be
true.
tough and it can be frustrating, but really, our power is in the diversity of our community. We have a strong network of community that cares,
Yes.
and if we can connect that and we can tell their stories, I really like that idea.
Yeah. Thank you, Sam.
One thing that always, that I would really love to learn more about is the history of our many faith-based institutions. Fitchburg has so many churches of so many different denominations, and some are, many are steeped in a history that goes back decades, if not hundreds of years. I would
Yeah.
love to learn more about that. We have many, churches in that have all in Spanish, all in Portuguese. We have, we have the Hmong New Year that's held in Fitchburg. We have we have more than one Buddhist temple. You know,
Yes.
will that be part of the Fitchburg Roots?
Absolutely, absolutely, because that's integral, right? The culture behind those religions and those and the people that practice the customs and the traditions and all of that, that also weaves into the fabric of Fitchburg because you see that little glimpses of that everywhere. But yes, the idea is to bring those to the forefront and create some pride, help people feel proud about sharing this. With people that are open to hearing it, because a lot of times the tendency is to kind of cloister among ourselves, either religion or some of these segments of the community may or may not feel welcome or comfortable with coming forward and sharing that with mainstream, right? Mainstream Fitchburg. So the idea is listening is a lost art, to invite these people to come and tell their stories and to share them and to have somebody on the other end genuinely interested and enthusiastic, much like what you do, you know what I mean? And just open up that space for people to share. And so, to answer your question, absolutely, absolutely, that will be part of it. And so that's the first stage. The second stage is we'd love to have a multicultural event. As you know, that I've done a few events in my Fitchburg history. And so when the book is ready to launch, it will be kind of punctuated by this event, which I'm not going to share too many details right now, but the idea is to get the restaurants that offer multicultural, different ethnic foods together with the music and with the launch of the book. And hopefully, because so many people will be involved, so much of the community will be involved in the making of the book, right? From the writers to the artists to the people themselves that are being interviewed, people on the board, people that are friends of Fitchburg Roots, that they'll all want to be there because they've invested something in it, right? So hopefully it will create this event where it's like Fitchburg Pride. People will have a podium where they can get up and say, yes, I'm on page such and such, and I talked about my family and the pride of us coming from Puerto Rico or from India and bringing these things with us. So that's the second leg. And then the third leg is hopefully become part of a center where we can continue to open the doors to different cultures and actively engage with the community to offer things like African drumming classes or Celtic dance, because, all of that's part of our fabric too, right? And just share those cultures and those customs with other people that are interested in knowing.
We
Right?
have a Native American flute playing group locally.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Okay,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I know that. You're gonna have to hook me up with that. That's something I'm very interested in personally too.
Well, Beth, I'm in. So whatever you need, for help, I love the project idea.
Awesome,
And,
awesome.
because around the world in Fitchburg, we have volume 1 and 2. And I mean, this is almost everyone in Fitchburg. If you've lived here forever, you have the books,
Yes,
and
yeah,
you flip through them, and they're in black and white, and they're very rich in history and detail. But like you said, they end in 1975, and
yes,
that
yes.
was 45 years ago.
It's time for
So
an up.
we have a lot to cover from then to now.
We do, we do. And the main difference between those books, like I said, we have Simone Blake, who's part of our group, who was on the original Around the World in Fitchburg. So she's done a lot of the genealogy, a lot of the research and things like that. We also have volunteers for Fitchburg State that are in place for September to start doing some of the research. So we have people stepping in to help on the academic level and the genealogy research and stuff like that. But also too, the format of the book is going to be different in such a way where we wanted to make it accessible to even younger kids that want to see, so it's going to be more appealing to the modern day where not a lot of people sit down and read a book today. Academics might and students might, but Faces of Fitchburg, we want it to be rich in illustrations, hopefully color, with brief little fun facts about that ethnicity, And so the readability is going to be more like the brain of the modern day human, which doesn't linger too long sometimes on one thing. You know, we have these barrages of flashes and you know, TikTok videos and whatever we want to do, you know, with this short attention span. So the idea is not to minimize and not to say that our audience is not going to be able to sit down and read a textbook history book like Around the World in Fitchburg, but that's more like a textbook that you might get in school, or you would go out and purchase and spend a lot of time reading, and maybe some people would fall off and not stay from beginning to end. So the idea is to appeal to the sixth grader and to also appeal to the, you know, the senior that might want to pick it up, and have you know, easily referenced tabs where if you want to learn about the Hmong population, you know, you could have a tab on the side where you could say, okay, I can just read about this. So more like a coffee table book that does have accurate historical information, but also silly facts about what, you know, all the different inventions and the innovative stuff that Fitchburg has that's attached to those ethnicities in a way. That makes
Sounds like a lot. Who
Yes.
is involved in the board of Fitchburg Roots to help you accomplish this goal?
Yeah. So we do have, we only have two other board members right now. One is Francisco Ramos, who's New View. He's the community, yeah,
He's the community organizing
everything.
expert in
Yes.
Fitchburg.
And he's amazing, and he's been super supportive of this, as well as other nonprofits that are popping up. And then the other one is Dr. William Cortesia, who's a professor at Fitchburg State. And he's a history buff, I think he minored in history, but he teaches teachers how to be teachers. So he's in education right now. But he is interested in the historical aspect of it. He's a resident of Fitchburg, but he's also Brazilian, and has some you know, ethnic diversity there within his own persona. We also have Christine Reagan Davi, who is going to be our editor. She's not officially on the board, but she's very involved with Fitchburg Steward, the Fitchburg New View Stewards. She is a partner in her own her own. I don't know if they're incorporated yet, but Fitchburg Language Learners. So Christine Reagan Davi and Sam Godin, who's another longtime Fitchburg resident, they have a organization of their own called Fitchburg Language Learners. So they're trying to help people learn English, or English speakers to learn Spanish. So she's come together as our editor because she's done a lot of work with that for Fitchburg Roots. And also Joe Bowen is one of our advisors. He's been very supportive of the project.
Yep, former chair of the Cultural Council. He's amazing.
Yes, and he's also amazing. So they've been super supportive of the project, and I think they're excited just because, you know, even Jeremy Principal Roche from the public schools, Bob Jokala and Eva Kelly, those folks have all been super supportive and helping us try to find families, and just being on board with whatever we need. So there's been a great receptivity from the community. And I think it's just time. I think it's just time. So many other wonderful, as you know, wonderful projects are going on. We've got Louisa with the Art Museum giving out the Fitchburg Families First with the food and everything like that. And
with the art museum and communities.
yes, that's also New View Communities. So and also like Jesse Olson from the Fitchburg Art Museum. We've had, you know, we've spoken to the staff over there, and they're super supportive. Whatever they referenced Latino exhibit back in the day by an artist named Mario something, I forgot his last name, but you know, tried to get me connected to him to see whether or not he'd want to do some photography. So that's kind of my favorite thing about the project. It's not the project itself, it's not the book itself, it's just the way that it's kind of bringing different far parts of the community together to do one thing, you know, like the artists and the guest writers to do one thing, you know.
So on that note, for the people watching and thinking, I'd like to I have a really interesting Fitchburg story that I'd like highlighted. How do they contact you to get involved?
Well, they can. They're welcome to come to the monthly meetings. We're actually having a meeting on Wednesday that's kind of open to the public from 5:30 to 7. It might be short notice for somebody, but if anybody's curious, they can reach me at fitchburgroots@outlook.com. Super easy. So Fitchburg Roots @outlook.com, and send me an email. I'll be happy to send them the link if they want to just poke in and see what it's all about for Wednesday, or to reach me directly and just say, I'd like to, share my story with you. We're also having a focus group. I believe it's going to be June 9th, and it's going to be Zoom for now because I won't be in town actually that day. But that's going to be like a focus group. So we've been starting these kind of focus groups where there's a series of questions where we're just asking, origin stories and things like that. And we've had one so far, and people seem to really like it. They learned a lot about other people in the community, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't know we had so many El Salvadorians, or I didn't know that, these people were here at this particular date, and they've been here all along. I've just never seen them." So it's starting.
What's their story? Where did they come from? Where did how did their parents get here? Do they have other family here? Where do they go to church?
Absolutely.
These are fascinating questions, because we
Absolutely.
have from the 1975 before, we have a lot of we had a large Finnish population, there was a German population, there was an Irish population, there was an
English.
Italian, and they all kind of had neighborhoods, and that was that was in the late 1800s. And now how have things changed? This could be really fascinating. I'm really
Yes,
interested to see how this
absolutely.
evolves.
Even just as
So,
a Pittsburgh lover, but even
yeah. So if,
historically.
if you're interested in sharing your story or getting on the mailing list, so maybe you can join the focus group June 9th, and I'm sure coming into the future, then you can email Fitchburg Roots at outlook.com to get
Yep.
on the mailing list,
Hmm.
and look for more opportunities to hear the stories and maybe share the stories.
Absolutely. We're all ears. We're all ears. And it's that custom of bringing back the storytelling, right? Because if we don't collect it, then, you know, the coming age and the new generation, how are they going to know, and feel this sense of pride about, okay, my city has a history, and my people are actually mentioned in this history, and bringing it forward to have pride not only as a resident of Fitchburg, but as a proud member of whatever culture or ethnicity you're from, right? So
It's
it's
like
that.
creating a daily journal, except putting it all together with many, many daily journals.
Yes, exactly.
Reading a diary, that will be the goal anyway, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
So email Fitchburg Roots at outlook.com, and Beth Robbins will get you on the email list so you can find out more information. And here at FATV, we hope that you come back to the show, and we would love to hear some of your stories. If when you get stories from people, we'd love to have them on the show and highlight them and hear about their history. That would be fantastic. Thank you, Beth, for coming on and sharing about Fitchburg Roots.
Yes, thank you, Sam, and thank you for all you do, of course.
All right, great. And thank you for watching at home, discussing Fitchburg now. I hope you learned a little bit more about Fitchburg, and I hope you're interested in what's coming up in the future. All right. So we will see you next time. Thanks.